The topic I have chosen for today's presentation is strategic management and risk management in Panchatantra. Before I embark upon, I offer my humble pranamams to one and all the luminaries here who gathered here. Further, I wish to prostrate before that great soul, Pandit Vishnu Sharma ji, but for whom I am not here today. The great soul who has handed over as a great work of Niti Shastra is in fact now awaiting the patronage and propagation to the next generation to empower the next generation for the benefit of mankind from all of us. Yes, you all will agree with me that Panchatantra was a book of entertainment for a few in our childhood. But in fact, it is a valuable work not only on political science, but also on life science. It is up to the student or the reader of this Panchatantra to assimilate, appreciate, and apply the same in his real life. It is a lighthouse, according to me. A conference of this kind is the need of the hour, and I am blessed to be present before you all. As a Nitya Vidyarthi, I have to learn, unlearn, relearn on a regular basis, even in my profession. I seek all your blessings in this regard. As a professional, I have been encountering different problem situations in my daily life, be it professional or personal. No doubt, Srimad Bhagavad Gita offers a solution, but according to me, Panchatantra is a ready reckoner, an easily digestible one for a layman like me. Of late, Panchatantra is my guide, friend and philosopher and a reference point. Every time, the outcome is true, correct and perfect. I did have a doubt as to why Pandit Vishnu Sharma ji used the medium of animals and birds to convey us the subject. Slowly but surely, I am convinced that except humans, all the animals have a natural instinct to learn. They have a knowledge to learn, to adjust and adapt to the circumstances at the fastest pace. Some talents come to them naturally. For example, swimming. If you leave a dog in a tub or a pool of water, it naturally swims. Same is the case with the tortoise. It takes birth on the land and simply moves on to the sea and carries on its journey. This is one strong region which appeals to me. And now we need to focus as to what is being conveyed through these non-human characters. My Guruji was always telling, remove the animals from that Panchatantra, you have more essence. Yes. And an attempt was made. It is interesting to note that we all love stories from our childhood. The sum and substance of the story told to us by our grandparents and parents stay in our memory for a long time than any other mode. In storytelling, the children listen to you than hear. There is a vast difference between listening and hearing. Added to this, the language of the stories, the characters in the stories leaves an indelible mark in the minds of the listener, particularly the children. The associative law comes into operation every time in the minds of the children in a similar situation at a later part of their life. Further, I wish to add that the present day management practices recognize the story mode of conveying the message to a target audience, and it is gaining popularity. There are many people now, the storytelling institutes are on the increase. The story is the medium to communicate an idea now. Now, with this brief backdrop, I wish to proceed little further. You are all aware that the Niti and Niyati studied in the stories of Panchatantra are in fact eternal and are relevant even today. All the 70 plus stories in Panchatantra are jewels of invaluable nature. The stories documented in Panchatantra have a unique feature. Though the 5 parts appears to be watertight compartments, but intra-part, one story leads to the other. The linkage is carefully crafted by Pandit Vishnu Sharma ji. Now I turn to the finer area of management, risk and strategic management. I use the word strategy in the sense of a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim. The risk management, which is a common thread that runs into virtually all aspects of management, not only for corporate, but it is also applicable to the individual plane with equal force. In fact, risk management includes, in simple words and steps, identification of the risk, analysis of the risk, estimating the risk, mitigating the risk. At this point, I am tempted to state that the Western scholars on management have evinced more interest in Panchatantra than our fellow management gurus in India. Though Panchatantra is of Indian origin, the same did not get the distinction and popularity which it deserves. It is now time to fill up the gap, to correct the past, empower the future. The one reason I think is the lean of ours to the facets of management principles and theories propounded till date, and the superiority of the West over the Orient. Originating from the West, we are recognized within Bharat much more before they could convince the same in the West. But the fact remains, the knowledge was connivingly hidden, access was denied. Now I am very happy to state that at least now we have a big opportunity to correct the trend. You all will agree that the risk management and associated strategic management requires the following among other things: diversification, insurance and collaboration. As Dr. Mohanji was telling, the collaboration, the handshake. It goes without saying that the reduction in the possible negative impact of the potential threats in case we appreciate these stories. Further, it is noteworthy to state that risk perception, risk assessment are the first steps in risk management. Here, the insights embedded in the Panchatantra in 5 sections come very handy. I wish to add that before the risk actually materializes, given a thorough understanding of the essence of Panchatantra stories, one would sense the risk in advance. The wisdom need to solve these perceived risk and associated issues that we are likely to face is already with us, as the wisdom absorbed from these stories are of a very practical in nature. In case of risk management, we have preventive models, detective models and curative models. The study of Panchatantra throws adequate light on preventive and detective models. This wisdom is both applicable at personal level as well as corporate level. Best to put, the stories authored by Pandit Vishnu Sharma ji echo the completeness of both strategic and risk management issues and provides solutions to the challenges of the present day complex business and life situations. Going forward, the fundamentals of management, conflicts in management, embraces the aspects of planning, execution, adoption of factors both internal and external. In my limited understanding, Pandit Vishnu Sharma ji has skillfully authored the essence, knitting into stories morals, ethics and practical wisdom touching various facets of life, and adequately touches the ever difficult area of decision making and personal relationships. I may be permitted to pitch some select stories from each tantra to elaborate. The first thing that we were introduced as one of my faculty, Srinivas Krishna Reddy, during our MIMT days, was the stories of Kartaka Damanaka. See, even many people say, if 2 people are not doing some mischief now, where are you, man? Kartaka Damanaka, come. Now see the qualities of Damanaka. He was a shrewd character, He was an envious character. He was idly deceitful, ambitious, but who remains steadily engrossed in his mission, entirely undaunted by obstacles. Karataka, he was more ethical in his approach, loyal to his master, discreet, weak opponent of evil things, wise, contented, etc. We also have the character of bull in the first part. The bull has many wonderful characters like straightforwardness, might, selflessness, but it had a disinterest, but was honest, loyal, committed for true friendship, stout, strong, and built and mirrored. Though a person may be prudent, definitely he will also have some weaknesses. Despite many virtues, lack of, I would reiterate, emphasize, lack of practical wisdom, and one might not know how to differentiate between a true friend and impostor, or enemy with the face of a friend, etc. If you read that first part, Mitra Bhed. Thus, what is to be appreciated is the basic need, necessity, and importance of having practical wisdom. Theory alone doesn't say, you should be practical in nature. The aspect of reading, see, if you read how Damanaka says, how to read a person. He said, I can read a person in 6 different ways. The aspect of reading person from his changes in posture, signs, pace, actions, conversation, looks and expressions indicate the working of his mind. It's very, very important. You read, it is a different way of how to understand a person by seeing him. Now, the observed by the observer, it is conveyed to us through the character of Damanaka. We appreciate the science of how to study a person, call it as a body language, gesture study. We can understand what is working in the other person's mind. We should also appreciate that evidences can be deceitful. So it is very clear in these stories, though through the character of Damanaka, the aspect of teamwork and team spirit is also conveyed. The need and necessity of keenness in observation. You should be, as any professional, whether it's a doctor or a chartered accountant, or it's a keenness is very important. The story, for example, of Heron and Crab tells us not to be greedy in our transactions. The heron and the mongoose is to be understood that if you are designing a strategy, you should understand the implications of it. Without knowing what would be the outcome, if you design it, it will be a problem for us. Otherwise, we will be doomed. The other one, for example, the Mitralava, the story of the lion and the mouse, it emphasizes the need for mutual help. Again, it's a handshake. You can't say he is weak, he is strong. Even the weak person will come to your rescue tomorrow. That's very important. And the equating things to the present day competitive world, the aspect of cordial and congenial atmosphere is necessary, else friction pulls us down. So developing that atmosphere is very important. Organizational climate, as we call. Also, the aspects of kind of enmity and friendship is dealt in this part. Now, there is also a description of enemies here. Innate enemies, external enemies, enemies with whom you should do friendship, or friends with whom you can trust, with whom you should not do friendship, etc. They are detailed. They are so detailed, I'm surprised. Some of the management books are yet to deal with those subtle things here. Now, the other one, the Kakolakiyam, they say about the international relationship or on the corporate world between two persons. How to enter into an agreement, how to agreement a treaty, whom to trust and not to trust is brought out in 17 stories in this section. This section also mirrors the aspects of prudence. Very important, prudence. One should not start a work. If started, finish it. These two are the advices on prudence to act, prudent acts on all of us. Also, we should recollect what was said through this Stirajivi, Meghavarna, etc. that the great men do not give up things what they begin, even if they have to face obstacles. The words of wisdom quoted include the following statement: it is dangerous to live And he gives an example. The Panchatantra gives us an example as to what are the things you should not leave incomplete. A live fire, a fire unextinguished, a debt unredeemed. Because as a chartered accountant, I know what happens if you don't redeem your debt. Your CRISIL rating comes down, you don't get further help. Okay, similarly, now an enemy uncrushed and a disease untreated. I quote these words of Sthiraji saying that virtue belongs to those who are charitable, learned, courageous and friendly, strong and non-violent. So wonderful. Virtue brings wealth, wealth brings power. It is a king with these qualities. Sri Shankara Reddy ji was telling about the aspects the king should possess. Bheda, Danda, etc. Apart from that, what is important is, according to me, it is a king who can rule and expand his kingdom. But I humbly seek to offer that one of the advice, all this power should not enter your head. This again is because this mirrors the role of arrogance that we should, very important, and its impact on the day-to-day administration. If a corporate man is very arrogant, no, he cannot rule. Therefore, Panchatantra is again loaded with so much of advice. So the stories we link it to Jackal simply says, he who survives anticipates a danger and avoids it. That is the risk management. You should anticipate things. Okay, this is the fish story, the frogs through frogs and fishes. It says tomorrow there is going to be a net laid down. Better you just keep that. Protect yourself. So these are simple things. Appears to be simple at the first, but it's very deep in its approach and contents. Anticipating the dangers of possible negative outcomes survives in the long run, else they are certain to get ruined. What a wonderful piece. It is a must, according to me, for everyone to remember it. The story of frogs and snakes warns about the possible deceitful ways the people design or hatch their plans. One should be very careful before believing somebody or taking somebody into confidence. Now let me slowly move to the fifth portion. The fifth part is slightly on a different footing than the other four. It says, this section is from the structural point of view and in a limited way the organizational point of view also, because I have taken strategic and risk management. In a nutshell, to save time, I would say that ill-considered acts leads to damage and destruction. These are all half-baked thoughts. The author proceeds to explain and exemplify the fact of various amusing stories. I am confident that this chapter is just to instill the core universal human values in the mind of younger generation and makes the youths good human beings with all-round success and joy in their lives. The morals that we learn from this section include: a man should not execute a work which is not properly seen, known or understood or heard or examined. So I am reminded when Dr. G is next to me, I am mostly reminded of the over-the-counter drugs. Sir, I am having headache, give me a tablet. I forgot my diabetes tablet, give me one tablet for diabetes. They don't consult. It is not tested. Similarly, the aspect of testing and very important, using discretion while taking decisions dominate the essence of this part of Panchatantra. The importance of absence of greed while taking the decision is underlined in this section. Overnight, I want to become rich. People invest money, particularly in the share market, in the corporate world, without knowing who the directors are. What is the problem with the company? The company analysis, the share market analysis, the trend, they don't do it. So these are the things we should learn slowly but surely. We should learn from this Panchatantra. Next, the question of trend analysis, or how the things are, the environment, is it congenial, conducive and all, we should understand. So I take this opportunity to thank my Guruji Dr. Rani Sadasivamurthy Garu, for a wonderful opportunity, because rarely I am in the presence of the Ma Saraswati. When I am in the office, I have a different set of people, and many times chartered accountants are seen as people who help you in tax evasion. So the ethical aspect, not like that, sir. I know you, sir. I know you, sir. It's, no, we somehow it has got, but to convey that. So what is within the parameters, within that particular square, there is nothing you can plan. Planning or tax avoidance is not a problem. Tax evasion, that is the ethical issue there. It's an ethical issue. So what the law has said, you are permitted to move around in the four walls. Beyond that, if you do that, what Ranganath Mishra ji told, colorable devices, that is a problem. I seek all of your blessings before I sign off from you all. And one line I would like to add, that you are all an army of pure mathematicians. You are an army of pure mathematicians from the Vaidika angle, with Vedas and other things. But I am a student of applied mathematics. Slowly, whatever little I can just sense the fragrance through the nasal thing, not even taste. Effortlessly, the fragrance comes to us sometimes. With that itself, we feel regenerated. So I thank you. Trying to imbibe the essence of this great work for the best benefit of the Vikasit Bharat in the days to come. Jai Hind.